and be like,
hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode
really?
of Fire Panther Presents. Already started. Today, we got the team back together to talk about Godfather of Harlem with season 3, episode 2. We predicted some things. Let's see what's going on. Let's see what's going on with these characters. Let's go with Kim. What did you think of this week's something?
Well, it's still predictable, right? I mean, him against the Italians again, right? Again. And I'm glad that they added Jose from Spanish Harlem, because I said that they needed to, that's where you needed to go. Go to Spanish Harlem, get some backup, because you can't do it by yourself. You don't have enough people in Harlem to do it by yourself. But, and then also too, he does need to kind of get some other people in Harlem to help him. There's a lot of, you know what I'm saying? So I do like that his right-hand men were like, there's people, there's these gangs we can control in Harlem, and these other gangs we can control in Harlem, but we can't do anything with Spanish Harlem. And then Bumpy was like, okay, we'll go there, right? So, but it was still the same thing, right? He goes, he meets with them, and then, you know, he's like, no, I don't want you. I don't want you in my business, basically. And, you know, I'm the king of Harlem. And then here we go again. You know, but now the Spanish Harlem has joined with him. So I'm like, okay, so what's going to happen next week? But can we move on to something else? Like, instead of you being you and the Italians, like, I don't understand why they can't change the focus of this, right? Like, change the focus. Have him losing his business, right? He has many businesses. They don't talk about those. It's just, I'm really disappointed. I am. I mean, because I love all these actors. I think everybody's doing a really good job. And Margaret is back, and Margaret has grown a couple of inches, right?
A whole lot. She's a grown-ass little woman now.
And when she had her hands folded over those little breasts that are coming in, I was like, okay, so the young lady has grown. She definitely has grown. So
how old is she supposed to be in the show?
I'm
thinking 11?
Like 11, 12 years old.
Yeah, so. Yeah. We were actually confused on that, because then she was supposed to be born before Elise went before Bumpy went to jail.
Okay.
And then he was jail for like 10 plus years. So like the age was kind of off. But to your point, she's supposed to play like a preteen, like 12 at best. But she's definitely a grown-ass woman now. Right. So they're like, you know, like she ain't Yaz, but they're easily writing her off. They'll be like, we don't need her around. To your point of why does he have to fight again? Just real quick, I thought the same thing when at least they wrote it in the dialogue. This is a great deal. I should accept it, but fuck y'all, because you know we got to get through. So I'm out. I was like, this what?
Yeah.
Give me. You can't oppress me like this. Some shit. Like don't say this sounds pretty good, but you know we got 8 more episodes we got to get through. So fuck it. I'll see y'all later, and we'll work.
Because how does it? Okay, if it sounds pretty good, then take it, right? It's they're controlling you, which is something you don't want. So don't say to them it's a great deal, because you know you sound like an idiot.
Well, I'm like, but anyway, so yeah, we'll get to all that. I was just like, again, it's like, so the story could happen, as they say on some channels. Jamani, what did you think of to this week's episode, please?
Okay, so as Margaret, I think, is the reason for everything. Like, I think they got together this season and said, all right, we're gonna go the route of the Judy Winslow and send her upstairs. And this is what this episode was, you know, stuff is getting real crazy. So we're going to the mattresses, you know, a la Sopranos, you know, and we're sending families away, and boom, she got sent upstairs, and we just won't see her again. Well, you know, she's with Meemaw in South Carolina, or she's in her room doing homework. You know, we won't, like, as you see, they didn't give you any real shots of her with anybody else. It was like, you have Elise, she's like far off in the distance. So like, it's like, they didn't want to have like a composite shot of her right next to anybody else in the cast. It was like either they're on one shot and they're on another side of the room, sitting on one couch and she's on it. Like they didn't want to have that comparison of height or anything like that. So I think this is her hurrah. Like we've seen pretty much the last of her. We might see her like in cameos here and there, but I don't see this being like a every episode thing for her anymore. And I think that's all that this whole thing was. I think soon enough it'll reconcile or find a resolution by episode 5, and then there'll be something else that starts up again for the second half of the season. I don't necessarily like how they're playing with religion in this episode. It's like I'm like, I don't know that much about Santeria, but is that exactly how it goes? As far as with how it goes. I'm okay, but I'm saying like as far as with the Islam, I'm like they just totally didn't tell the actual story that Malcolm went to Africa for a pilgrimage to Mecca. And I actually checked on my Alexa. I was like, how far is Mecca from Ghana? Because they're saying Ghana, which is like the quote unquote it place in Africa right now, you know, for people to travel and stuff like that. And I'm like, I'm not saying he didn't go there. He may have traveled to different countries and stuff, but that's like 800 miles in distance from Mecca. So he went there on a religious pilgrimage, which is a part of Islam. And they never even mentioned that once. It was just, I'm going to Africa to get Black people to help our movement. No, he was going there because as a Muslim, you have to go to Mecca as a pilgrimage at some point in your life. And that's, a point of becoming, closer to your faith. People do that every year at a certain particular time, usually like in the summer, like June, I'm like July or August. So I don't know why they didn't actually give that specific explanation. They're just using something totally different.
Well,
and
remember,
I'm like, it would have worked into the story.
It's not based on real.
I know, I'm saying, but it would have actually worked towards the story where he was saying to Omar last episode, I don't want to kill you because, you're a fellow Black man. And he actually, in real life, went to Mecca and saw that there were so many different ethnicities and races, even white people that were there. And he was more accepting of white people when he came back. And he was saying, anybody for justice is somebody that he was for, as opposed to before when he was saying, I don't want the white man's help for any reason. I don't understand, like why are they showing real clips of Malcolm X after just replacing the last Malcolm X? Why wouldn't they have the actor
redo the scene?
So it's consistent. It's like when they show the previously on, I'm like, now I've had like 3 Malcolms in one episode. And he sounds so monotone. It's like, does he read books on tape? It seems like he's doing an audition for James Earl Jones as opposed to Malcolm X. It sounds like he should be saying, this is CNN, as opposed to all the stuff that he's saying. I don't like, he is terrible. Like, I'm like, and he's like extremely abusing that just for men. Like can he dye that beard any blacker?
Jesus.
I mean, well, he's trying to fit the role. He's trying to fit the role, I suppose. And he knows he has big shoes to fill because people enjoyed the previous fake Malcolm. But to your point, they shouldn't show. They've done this throughout the entire series. Actually, they showed the real footage of the real Malcolm, and I'm like, why are you doing that? Because that's not the dude sitting right next to so and so watching himself on TV. Like, it looks ridiculous. I'm like, let's not do that.
Yeah, but they're like showing it in, like they showed it last episode, they showed it this episode, and I'm like, why are you doing that specifically right now when you've just changed the character? I mean, changed the actor.
Yeah.
So that's where kind of like the criticism comes in. But as far as like with the whole Joe Colombo thing, I'm like, I want to know how much of his story is accurate. I don't know that much about Joe Colombo as far as his history goes, but I'm like, I want to know where this story is supposed to be going. Like, what is he really supposed to be, an ally, quote unquote, or is he just a wolf in disguise? Like, I really don't have any inkling of what his character is true intentions are. Like, not even him speaking to any of his other men as far as, well, this is the real plan that we're doing, but I'm just saying this to other people. Like, I don't have any idea what is his real end game. So,
well, see, I mean, he said, I mean, I think it's very clear that, I mean, following Chin's guidance, who's, again, I guess because the actor is probably doing Marvel stuff that he can't be in the show, they know his job is to get control of Harlem by any means necessary, right? So he tried, like working with Bumpy, but if that ain't working, then he'll just go to war with Bumpy. But he's been very consistent about that's the goal, to get re-control of Harlem and the Doogie markets there, and to crack that, and it's just how he's gonna do it. Again, he ain't no problem working with Bumpy if he can control it, but Bumpy ain't trying to hear him, so he has to change tactics.
We've replaced Chaz Polnischek and the I forget the guy's name who died over the summer, Servino. I guess the guy with the glasses is supposed to be his character now.
Yeah, Tommy, the new Tommy.
Yeah, the new Tommy.
Yeah, so I'm like, there's a lot of cast changes for this third season, and it's really not making it to be the best season at all. Like, the only part I thought was entertaining was, when he brought the guy in, he said, "Yeah, we got the doogie for you," and he gives it to him in the neck, and he's like, "Yeah, either you're against me or you're dead." I was like, that was like the only good scene of the whole episode. Like, everything else was boring, and I'm like, I said it last week, Stella would go to
Teddy's
mother, but I'm like, in all reality, she left the letters behind. Why? And then goes there, like, you're basically leaving breadcrumbs because they try to kill you in your house, and then you leave evidence of where you're going. Forget all that. But why go there in the beginning to put her in danger, potentially? I don't necessarily understand what they didn't have a strong connection. She wanted to get to know her because she didn't get to know her when Teddy was alive, and was it the second season? But we've passed that. Like, what is the like, why are they still so connected now that she's in trouble? She runs to her.
Yeah, that's fair. I mean, that's fair. Because we really hear much of their relationship last season, to the point that they're pen pals, and she's been keeping her abreast of everything going on with her. That's a good point. I mean, I thought
Olympia acted the hell out of that. I'm a concerned mother part. Usually people, you can like see that they're pretending, but like, yeah, that actually kind of she was actually playing that up really well.
She's a accomplished actress. I mean,
who is this?
Stella's stepmom, the one who present the assassin. Anything else?
I want to know, what is the purpose of Elise anymore? Like, she's just a hanger on for people now. Like,
well, that's why she's going to Africa, man. So we won't see her either for a while. So she and Malcolm will be gone conveniently.
All right. So yeah, all right. So it's just gonna be, and there's no Adam Clayton Powell this episode. I'm like, is he gonna be a mainstay in this season? Because I know he films like 3-4 different other TV series.
Yeah.
So I'm like, is he gonna, like, is his was it Mamie's role in the church gonna be a predominant part going forward, where we see him and her? he was a known philanderer in real life. Is there going to be something that's going to happen as far as that goes? Because you see Bumpy's so off put by, another man can't talk to my wife if I'm not there. So, how is he going to feel when we get the BMF version when a priest is talking to his wife? Well, not a priest, but a reverend.
Well, they kind of addressed that already. I mean, for one, also if he was going to be in this series a lot, he would have been in this episode, because as Mamie figured out, Powell should have figured out that fucking Bumpy's the one that stole the money that he got from the government. So this would have been his episode to confront Bumpy about that and be like, "What the fuck are you doing? You messing this up for our people," and da 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 da. But they had Mamie do it, so now that issue is kind of like resolved. So Powell will be in and out as necessary, but this would have been his episode if he was going to be something, and the bank robbery would have been his only reason to kind of interact.
He got 3 projects right now. He got 3 projects going on right now, like TV movie projects. I'm just saying.
Yeah, I mean that's what I'm saying.
Busy.
So they wrote, like, to your point, they wrote the character like he comes in when necessary, but he got other shit going on, as you said. I mean, he has.
But that's all of them, though. All of these actors. Remember, this took 2 years to come back. So those actors are off doing other things. So if they pop in every now and then, that's what they have to do, right? To keep the show going. But if that's what you have to do, write a better script. Yeah. Right? To keep your audience and so that we don't miss those other actors, right? Because we love their performances, they're great actors. But if the story is bad, it doesn't matter, that you keep them going in and out, right? Because the story doesn't make any sense, or it's a repetitive story. So I feel like that they need to stop that. And Stella keeping her
Teddy's mom?
letters between her and the black mother in the house. If someone came in a house and tried to kill you, you're gonna pack up some little bit of stuff and you're gonna run your ass out of the house. She's not thinking, "Oh, I need to take the letters." Like that, she's not thinking that way. She's thinking, I got to get out of this house because is someone else coming after this dude to kill me too? So, and her having the letters, I think that Stella is always looking for a mom, right? Or a connection, right? Because she didn't have her mom. Right. So because Olympia, the actor, the stepmother doesn't give her that, when she meets another woman, she clings to that woman. And for her, it was Teddy's mom, right? Because Teddy's mom was kind to her. She acted like she cared about her, which I feel like she did, right? And she does. And so I think that's why she's continued. That's the closest woman that she can get that motherly thing that she's yearning for, right? And so that's why they had that connection. And that's why she's writing to her, because she really wants a mom. And yeah, she ran to her mom because she's like, that's the only person that I know that'll have my back, because my actual family does not have my back. So I got that whole part, but I'm still sick of Stella. I'm sick of Stella being against her family. It's the same storyline over and over and over and over again. So it's like, it doesn't make sense. And Mamie being with, they're not going to show, even if he did sleep with Mamie, the pastor. Ow. They would never show it because they're not going to disrespect her memory or his memory. So they're not going to go there with that. Even with Malcolm, if Malcolm has ever had any affairs in real life, they're not going to go there either. Right? This is not what this show is about.
I see Chris's face, and I think him and I agree that they're going to do something different with this series.
I was say it's not like they consorted with the family with this.
Elise?
Oh, yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely.
Absolutely. No, there ain't no BMF like, hey, I could like the family's involved in this show. Yeah. Like there ain't none of that.
Yeah,
I would have. I'm sorry, I would have. I'm like, all right, I know.
You think Black Muslim Whitaker, he's the executive producer, and so is Swiss Beats.
He ain't no Black Muslim either.
So, well, okay.
Swiss Beats is.
I'm saying, but that's the story, Chris. Well, like Chris, what you got? What you got for the show?
So I have problems with this season 2 so far. However, I don't know, Jemani. I think some of the issues you were talking about, I thought was maybe a little bit too harsh. Like, kind of like what Kim was saying, in the sense of Stella's dynamic with Teddy's mom. I mean, to me, it makes sense. Like, who else is she talking to? Like, she's a widow at this point, right? So like her ride or die Earl at that point is dead. You know what I mean? Like, doesn't get along with the parents. Like, the only one that knows grief at this point is Teddy's mother. And then I heard you say something about like the whole idea of Ghana and Mecca, but I don't. Okay, you do realize Muslim people, like Middle Eastern Muslim people, their Mecca is different from Black Muslims, right? They do go to Ghana. Like, matter of fact, they just had what's called Black Mecca, and that's in Ghana. Now a lot of times when you go to Ghana, especially when you celebrate like that, they do make a trek over to the other part of Africa. Going towards the water, towards the Saudi Arabia version of Mecca. You know what I mean? But just to let you know, the National of Islam, there's a lot of things from that version of of Islam that's much different than your typical, I should say, version of Islam. So to me, that the Ghana thing made sense. You know what I mean? So so yeah, so that wasn't a problem. But so I don't find the issue with Elise either, or Eloise. I'm sorry, is that her name? Elise. I guess. Elise. Yeah. I don't have a problem with that. I mean, like David. We're in agreement. When they go to Africa, they it was like there was a book 10 years ago that basically kind of Malcolm's family didn't like it, but. So they said Malcolm was cheating on.
So again, what they did with this episode, to Jemai, I disagree that this whole point is about getting rid of Margaret. If from the separate from the drugs, this whole episode was setting the foundation that Betty and the entire family is going to be okay when Elise and Malcolm go to another country by themselves, and she will come. If a fair minute, I'm saying baby. When Malcolm ends up dead, as we historically he will, somehow Elise is going to be pregnant with his secret baby.
Yeah,
I'm going that far.
Yeah, I was going to say Hollywood don't give a shit. Just like Hollywood didn't give a shit in Lovecraft Country, talking about the stuff about Martin Luther King and all that other stuff. They're not care. They're not going to care. You know what I mean? Like, and if anything, a show like Lovecraft Country would have been respectful, if you want to call it that. But no, no. Matter of fact, any show most of the shows I've seen, that has to deal with actual characters, a lot of times they will kind of go a little bit like maybe even for like the heroes, they might say some stuff that's a little controversial, you know what I mean? But that's par for the course, I feel. And I don't think the show is that. I've yet to see anything that said that they had any dealings with the Malcolm family, with with Shabazz or anything. Yeah. No, none of that. So he's free game, unfortunately. Yeah. You know what I mean? And who knows? Maybe some of it might be fiction, but let's be real. A lot of it is speculation. And as we see with the show, they put a lot of speculation in the show. Yeah. So I feel like that might be one of them. You know what I mean? I'm unlike you again, Jamani, about the whole Joe Colombo thing. I'm actually interested in it, because I don't know too much about Joe Colombo, but I do know how powerful that family was. You know what I mean? I'm actually interested if they put the whole Godfather thing in it, since Godfather, when they made Godfather, they consulted with Colombo, Colombo and the league. They had to get permission with other stuff, and some of the other mafia families were upset with Colombo about even the involvement of him being one of the consultants, the advisors to them making the Godfather, in the 70s and whatnot. So it'll be interesting to see if maybe they go that route or whatever. Because the real Joe Colombo, he was feeling himself a whole lot, which you kind of get that in the show. So I think the problem is his introduction is kind of somewhat slow. And they clearly have to kind of put a fill in for Chin, since I don't know if the guy who's playing Chin, if he's he must be doing other projects, because obviously they can't even show him in jail. You know what I mean? But that's what that tells me. They can't even show him in jail, say, hey, protect my daughter or anything like that. But he, that's why they have to kind of add all of this. So I don't have a problem with what they're doing with Colombo. And I don't know, I must be the only person out of everyone that's actually okay with Stella's character. You know what I mean? I feel like if y'all, I understand that some people are like, oh, well, we're getting the same thing over and over again. I'm sorry, the whole thing with Bumpy Singh is all over and over again. So if I'm going to be okay with him once again get going to war with the Italians, the whole thing with Stella and the whole everything going on, especially now that like there's going to be a possible hit on her. You know what I mean? I'm all right with it. You know what I mean? I thought the scene last episode with her stabbing the dude that was in the house, I thought it was one of the only few tense scenes that they even had, you know, even last season last season with Godfather of Harlem, where all it is just like people showing up and people start shooting. You know what I mean? So I'm straight with it. You know what I mean? There was a lot of racial tension going on back there. And I feel like without having Stella there, all you're going to get is just the typical Italian people like, oh, those niggas this, these niggas that. And that's just, that's weak. It just doesn't really move the needle. I feel like Stella's character, especially the confliction with a lot of people back during the civil rights movement and post civil rights movement, like, and what is your job? Like, how do I live life? You know what I mean? I feel like she's kind of important to the story of that. Does she have anything to do with Bumpy's story? Absolutely not. But I like the fact that it's a little bit at times different from the typical, hey, we got more to for the Italians. Because some of that stuff, I'm sorry, that stuff gets old. You know what I mean? Some of Stella's stuff get old, but at least it breaks me out of the same shit that, you know, that I'm getting with Bumpy, unfortunately. I know, not a very popular opinion. A lot of people going to think different and just want Stella to be dead. I don't know. I differ on that. But
I don't want Stella dead. I want them to change her story. Like, give her more to do or get rid of her. That's what I'm saying. I'm not saying I like the young lady who plays her. I like Stella's. I like the way that she doesn't take shit from anybody. But I need them to give me a story other than she's the one against her family. Give me something else. Give her more to do. And that's
make her part of some type of organization, either this Bumpy's organization or the Italians organization. Like she's a fucking like experienced assassin at this point. Like she's dropped 2 fucking Italian killers like by herself. Like, I mean, and this.
But then she would get. I feel like if you do that, if you put her in one of the organizations, she'll get absorbed into the entire same plot thing again. And then next thing you know, Bumpy's going to be talking to his 2 foot soldiers, and then Stella on the like. It's just going to become. She's just going to be absorbed into that whole. We've got the same shit again. So I hear you, but I feel like the fact that she's not doing much of anything is kind of even realistic. Like in the sense of like you ain't got your family backing you. Realistically, no one's going to be fucking with you. So you are going to be on your own.
Maybe a story of her truly on the run, like you know what I'm saying, like under identity, trying to get a job. That's something. I give you that. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying.
Yes.
But
okay.
No, I'm saying I think she should exactly the way she is right now is perfect, right? She's under Columbo's thumb. If she started snitching instead of to the U.S. attorney, right? She's snitching to Bumpy, and then Bumpy's showing up to these meetings with inside information. Oh, I know about this. I know about this with you guys in the families that you guys don't want people to know about. How do you know this? She's hearing all the stuff Columbo's talking about in the clubhouse or on the phone and stuff like that, and she's giving it to Bumpy, and she's snitching on that regard. I think that's something we could see, kind of bud or bear fruit if she was basically his inside man with the Italians, and then however that develops or they find out or don't find out, whatever, that's a storyline that could go on for a little while, as opposed to people just killing her boyfriends and then people trying to kill her.
So I thought her storyline was can't go there, because now that she's in Columbo's protection / imprisonment, and he doesn't know that she's a snitch because Chin made sure that he doesn't know that. Just, you got to protect my daughter. He doesn't know why. She has to at some point get back to the federal prosecutor, because he's gonna be like, where is she? What's going on? She should have ran to him. Let's back this up. She's a federal witness, so she should have ran to him, which would have made 10 times more sense than going to fucking to Teddy's mama. You know what I'm saying? Like that made no sense, you know, because it wasn't like we've seen her write letters again last season. Oh, I'm doing this. Oh, I'm doing that. Oh, I'm marrying Ernie, you know, the guy who called your son a couple of niggas, you know, like, but you know, now I realize he's a good dude. Like the guy who put a gun to your fucking head and gave you money and told you get the fuck out. Yeah, he's my husband now. Mama knows none of this. So she only has two resources, the feds and fucking Teddy's mama, and the feds would have made more sense. And really, I mean, for that, but and then if she does that, then it's like, oh, then everybody's gonna know she's a snitch. So right now, only Chin knows, and what's gonna happen to Chin when everybody finds out that he knows that said daughter was snitching on the 5 families and he didn't take her out or tell somebody or something, you know,
well, whatchamacallit knows that she's snitching. You know, the guy with the glasses, the new actor.
The lawyer.
Olympia told him that she was snitching, and he was the one who okayed the hit.
That's right. So that's true. I forgot. So the new concierge or whatever, like he's the one that sent the killer after her. So he should be like, where the fuck is she? So when he finds out that Columbo is protecting fucking said daughter, he should be like, we still got to kill this woman. So he should be trying to orchestrate her new murder. How did she know that?
Wait. What if he goes to Bumpy and says, I want you I tried one of my guys. I want you to send one of your guys to do it, right? And this is a way you can, you know, get at Columbo. You know, they're probably gonna have a dust up or something again. And he's like, well, this is the way you can get even. You can get rid of his Stella, right? And you get 2 birds with 1 stone. You get Columbo and you get Chin. You know, you get to slight both of them, and then you know you get an episode where they're gonna do it, but I don't know, boss. It's a girl. We don't, you know. And then she slips through again, and then she ends up on Bumpy's side somehow.
I thought she was already there one previous seasons, but I mean especially after they killed Teddy. I think they did that. But when she went to the black side of town for a little bit, but I mean they could do that. But I wanted to say how much effort they put into justifying Elisa's relationship with Malcolm. They did too much. Like they did too. First, Malcolm is like, first episode we talked about this. First episode he was like, that man, Omar didn't appreciate you. You a good woman. You need a man that can treat you right. I'm like, okay. So then we get, you know what? How about you come with me to Africa, not my wife or my kids? How about you leave your kid and come hang out with me? Then Betty is like, you know what, girl? You should go with my husband to another continent and just hang out with him. Because I know that you find him attractive and I know you look up to him and I know you ain't got no man. So you go over there and spend time with my man. I'm like, what? Then
that makes no sense.
You know what?
Did not do that.
I'm gonna tell you this. Can you imagine? That is every man's dream, whether they want to admit it or not. Every man's dream was wanting their wife to be like, you know what? You know that gorgeous woman over there? You know, oh, you just want to go to DR or the top? Go ahead. Like, really? You give me a hall pass? Like, bro.
Yo,
that's a dream wife right there.
Stacey said, like, they got the whole sister wife thing going in the Muslims. As long as you can take care of your wives. I'm like, this is what they're doing. They're laying the groundwork.
That is true. I forgot about that part.
Wait, so what is the new slogan? What happens in Ghana? Gonna stay in Ghana?
I see your point, but
no, it's gonna be like, you gonna get this.
I say he's gonna be like,
you gonna get this deep.
He said, Allah, what was that? Allah? She's my new wife. You bless her. You blessed
her. But in the beginning, didn't we see that Malcolm was upset with Elijah Muhammad? I know he was upset because he was sleeping with underage girls, right? Yes. That was he upset. Yes. And he was also sleeping with other women outside of his marriage, and Malcolm was upset about that too.
Marriage. So if he marries her, then he's like, and Betty is like, she's one of us. We spent time together last season. All of us were a family last season. And she's like, this is the woman that really understands Malcolm's work as a Muslim. Because now Betty conveniently doesn't believe in it. She's like, hey, you should be home with your family. So this whole Muslim thing, you do what you do. So they're already kind of putting the pieces together. And then Margaret / Yaz is like, hey, you go to Ghana by yourself. You don't take me, even though I want my feet to touch the world so everyone knows who I am. But you go by yourself, mama. I mean, sister, because you ain't my mama. They made sure you saw that too.
Yeah.
They made sure you saw that too. So that's not your mama. That's your big sister. So she's like, I'm going there with the man that I love, and she's gonna come back. See, the baby will come later. I promise you, he's gonna get it in. When he dies, she's gonna be like, I still have a piece of Malcolm, and I will always love him.
And at least this baby I can raise, and this baby will call me mama. Just saying.
So now you got your redemption.
It's because she's missing that. She's not.
She's
not gonna get that from her daughter.
Facts.
Yep.
Now she got a new daughter and everything, a new child that she can care and raise, and somehow Betty will be okay with this bullshit somehow and be like, it's okay. It'll be the season series.
Yeah, maybe Betty was like, look, I gave this man 2 more babies. I ain't have nothing else to kick out of this womb. So whatever, like I'm good. A lot of women like that. A lot of women like, look, you better go somewhere else. Like I'm done.
They just work too hard to put Lisa and Malcolm together for that not to happen.
Yeah, there was a lot of that. I really didn't pay attention to the fact that there was a lot of trying to justify Elise going with him, and I was kind of like, what? Like, yeah.
The only thing was missing was like Keith Sweat.
Yeah.
Nobody
pushed back. That's weird.
Bumpy pushed back, but he was the only one.
No, but Bumpy was going forward. He was like, neither one of you should go because I can't protect you. It wasn't specifically to his daughter.
Yeah, it wasn't because of that he thinks Elise is going to sleep with him.
Yeah.
It was more so I can't protect you if you're in Ghana.
And both of you. Yeah. Betty should have been the one to be like, what the fuck?
Yes.
Like, that's what we're not doing. That's what we're not doing. Like, but
yeah, exactly. But Betty did marry a Muslim man. And when you marry a Muslim man, there's always a chance that he will marry another woman. So she knows what she married, right?
And that's what I'm saying. So it won't be disrespect. It will just be expanding the family. And he's like, hey, she's good for me and da. So also, I know I wrote this in the chat. I don't understand how Italian gangster Columbo became Detective Columbo. Like I was like
lazy eye and everything.
This is too much. Can I see her room? Columbo was like, let me go over here and check out these magazines. In minutes, he was like,
so last week on 7, what did you do? The goat right there.
I truly thought fucking Detective Columbo was gonna be like, you set her up to be murdered, right? Because that's why she just got up out of here and then tell you where she was, right? Protective mama. Like this seems kind of suspicious to me. But I was like, plot convenience. I was like, let's just get the story going. And then I was like, wait, he read. Oh, to your point, why she should have took the letters. This is 1964. So what you don't have is a smartphone to be like, hey, I know where I'm going in fucking Philadelphia. So you take the letters.
But not all the letters. You may take one of. You only need one address. Is one address.
Leave the rest if that's the address you're going to.
But she hid them. She's not thinking. Oh, I need to take the magazines with the hidden letters. She's trying to get the hell out.
Yeah, but like again, it's in a magazine, so she easily could just pick up the magazine because she needs something to read and she needs to know where she's going. It's plot convenience.
Okay,
it's just plot convenience.
If someone comes after you in your house and stabs you, I need you to go ahead and videotape what you would do. My ass, someone come through my front door, I'm going out my back door, and the only thing I love my dogs dearly, but guess what? I'm only grabbing. If my purse is there, okay, but if my phone is there, I'm out. I'm out.
As I said,
leaving everything else.
As I said. No phone because it's 1964.
Okay, then no phone. No phone.
I completely understand what you're saying. I'm just saying it's the address to where she's going. Yeah, that's the only thing.
We don't know that she took one of the letters with her, do we?
That just can we agree it's plot convenience just so Columbo can find it?
Okay, we'll go ahead and do that.
Absolutely. Like the way he found it. Yeah. I'll say the way he found it was plot convenience. Like yes, I side with Kim in the sense of like, you ain't gonna be thinking about, oh, let me get rid of this evidence right now while I'm running away. Like, you know what I mean? Same time, like this, she didn't just go to her house once. Like she had to write it down and just like leave it something like, I don't know. I mean,
she's never been to Philly. So again, she said that. So anyway, let's not go through all this. It was plot convenience. I felt like he was a detective for no reason, and then we're moving on.
How about set convenience? Like just having to go to a house that just had no peepholes. Like You can't just see who's knocking at the door.
That's
you can't just say who is it.
That's standard for shows, though. That's all show. No one has only horror movies have a plot, have a peephole, so they can be scared.
And then even then you can't see nobody, and you open the door,
and then they get shot through.
But when were peepholes added to apartment doors, though?
But no, even modern movies.
This was outside. She had an outside. There was a house, right?
No, she had an apartment. She had an apartment.
What, the mother?
Yeah.
Why did it look like there was an like you can see outside? Yeah. Was it outside? Either that or somebody messed up. Somebody on the crew messed up then, because literally, like when they came to the house, you saw outside. I'm telling you, I'm not saying that maybe she's not. I'm saying someone fucked up. A black woman
created them. It was, her name is Marie Van Britton Brown, and she felt uneasy at her house. And she said the police were unreliable. So she actually created the peephole.
Wouldn't that be funny if it was Ted in this one? They made it like Teddy's mom's like, after this shit with this white girl, I'm putting a peephole now. Like I'm a patent it. You know what I mean? Go by a different name. You know what I mean? And then just.
But that's,
there you go, Kim. You just created a plot.
See, the more you know, the more you know. It was a black woman that created the peephole because she wanted to know who was coming to her door because she didn't trust the cops.
That was some gangster shit right there. That's
black women invent everything. They invented caller ID and CCTVs. I'm like, they want to know everything.
Yeah, black women were like, who is it? Like, who is it?
I got no who it is.
If she's, if you're scared, it makes sense though, right?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, so
of course.
It's like new number. Who this? Like,
so so when your man just hangs up the phone when you walk through the door, you're like, who the fuck were you talking to? Let me find out. I was like, damn, she got me.
I bet a black woman kind of created like the porch camera light too. Like it was like, yeah, I'm gonna make sure when this nigga comes home, like when he coming in, when he coming in.
Well, that's the CCTV, so that's that's an evolution of that technology. So you got that right there.
It was cool, but I mean, Jamani. So there was a scene where they're all sitting at the table, but to your point of they didn't want to show her how big she's gotten because she's obviously grown. She's obviously grown, right? You never saw her standing next to her parents, her mom or even Mamie or none of them. And you used to see that before when she was small, so they could show that they were protecting her. But now she's a grown ass woman, so they like you need to sit over there.
Recast.
And they had her like this.
Yeah,
when she was standing by herself, they had her like this, so they were hiding that she has breasts now. Yeah.
At
that age, there are 11 and 12-year-olds, actually 10-year-olds who have breasts. So that's not a big deal.
I don't want to get into this.
But don't they put like in show? Well, now I guess with young people, you I guess you got to ask for the parents' consent because like I know in shows, at least back in the day. Though the way they solved that is doing the whole tape thing. You know what I mean? To be like, oh, that's too much. You know what I mean? Because no joke. Did I don't know if you guys looked up like stuff like old kid shows or whatever. Especially when like kids like get older or whatnot, and they would like they had to do that with a couple of the girls that like wound up getting older.
Janet Jackson said they did that on Good Times.
Yeah.
Why
did they do it on there?
With Janet. Yeah.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I guess my point is I'm just surprised. Like unlike Malcolm. I mean, they just didn't recast. Like I'm surprised they just didn't recast the girl. Like, I mean, her character's so little. Like, you could easily just put a different character in there.
No one would have noticed.
I mean, you're going to do it with Malcolm. Why not? Like, you know what I mean? Malcolm's such a big character. I mean, what? Yeah. Do it here. I don't know. Maybe she's the daughter of some producer or something. Maybe that's why they haven't. Who knows? I don't know.
So Chin is in prison. He's so separated that he has to use his lawyer to talk to Columbo, right? But somehow he knows someone tried to kill his daughter, but he doesn't know that it was Olympia that said killer to kill his daughter. Like I'm like, how is this information getting around? But not all the information is getting around. Like that doesn't make sense to me.
It sounds like a rewrite. It sounds like they rewrote some stuff because like maybe it sounds like they like were trying to have Chin in the show and then like maybe from behind bars and then. So they had to rewrite all this other crap, and like you said, it just fell flat because like some stuff doesn't make any sense. You see what I'm saying? I like it don't. No joke to your point. When I was watching this, it completely seemed like they planned on having the actor there, and then for whatever reason, wherever I guess maybe it's availability or whatnot, it just didn't work, and then they just improvised. It's because a lot of it just seemed to improvise with what they were saying, like, oh, someone tried to kill a dog, like it just. all of it seemed kind of fake. Because no joke, I feel like if Chin was in it, Chin would like maybe suspected like certain people, even maybe including his wife. You know what I mean? And it just wasn't present. It just seemed so weird. It just seemed out the blue.
And he doesn't tell Columbo, do not tell anyone where my daughter's at, right? Like not even my wife, because you would think he would be like, hey, your daughter's fine. Since he went to her to find her, right? You would think that he would be like, your daughter's fine. I'm keeping her protected. Don't worry about it. And now she's like, I gotta kill this bitch. Because how did Stella figure out it was Olympia that tried to kill her in the first place? How did detective figure that out?
How did the detective, or how did?
Well, I mean, like all of a sudden Stella's a detective. So how the fuck did she figure this out? That she's like, oh, it must have been my stepmother that tried to murder me. Like,
because she said, are you going to be home? And she's like, I will never touch you again. And you know, it was all of these little, the way she was talking, and everything happening in the sequence of events, and that after that.
I was gonna say to that point, she it seemed like she was dropping hints to her, like the way she said, oh, you are a traitor or whatever, and then she kept saying like stuff like, oh, you all this stuff, well, you were able to get away with your daddy, but your daddy ain't here now. If I was in Stella's position, she would be on my number one like list as far as who, like, you know what I mean? It just seems
suspect. I mean, she said it with like it was her. I'm like, if she was said,
well, who else could it? To your point, who else could it be though?
If she's
like everyone else that was involved is dead,
or just in jail. All the families could want her dead. I mean, I'm saying it could have been her dad too. I mean, we don't know.
But we established that her dad, like, well, okay, I guess, but her dad went through all the trouble to make sure that her and Ernie was not caught by killing his own dude. Like, to your point about killing, like the fact that she killed a made man. He did the exact same thing. Chin did the same thing to say. So, if anything, if he was the one to put that order, basically he's going to wind up. That shit's going to land back on him. So that's kind of suicidal, sort of. So I think if I was Estella, I would know it couldn't be my dad, because in a sense, he'd be writing his own death, like his own
death warrant. No, I get you.
Because if Chin would have been the one that did anything to Stella, remember. And this is in real life. They don't go after children, and whether you're a grown child or not, they don't go after women and children. That's just a rule. And when you break that rule, you get dealt with. So I don't think Chin would do that to his daughter.
No, I mean, I don't think so. I'm saying, but Stella just almost got murdered. She's going through the suspects. I'm just saying, it just seemed kind of weird that she was so solid in her conclusion. You know what I'm saying? Like, it was like a note she found in the killer's pocket or some shit. It just was plot convenience so we can keep this thing moving. I mean, I get that.
Right.
But it just seems kind of a little bit far-fetched. And if somehow Chin figured out someone tried to kill his daughter, the only person who knew that she was snitching was his wife. So then he should have been like, so Olympia should be like, fucking Chin's gonna kill me. Like, if daughter's still alive and he's gonna figure out I did it, I gotta get up out of here. Like, that should be a storyline. Like I said, if the actor was available and he could still be in this scene, that would be those wheels would be turning. And Olympia gotta be like, I gotta get out of here.
So, but I think it also goes to the naive of sometimes when it comes to men and what happens with their kid and then their spouse, right? A lot of men are, like, I would say, is like they might feel like there's a good relationship going on with them, especially if you're talking like someone's stepmother. Like, you could fall in love with, like, let's just say like you're with your wife, and maybe you already had a kid from a previous relationship or whatever, but you love your wife now, right? Whatever, and you just assume that she would love your daughter like your own, you know what I mean? And vice versa. She would love her like his own mother or whatnot. A lot of guys are sometimes like, don't realize that there's sometimes, especially if you're talking about like a woman against another woman, or like a young boy against another boy, like a stepfather or whatnot, that shit clash, right? So I'm wondering, so he could be very naive on how toxic it was. Before, we saw in the previous season where like his wife would just complain to him and be like, hey, look, well, and he's like, come on, let your mom, blah, 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 blah. And Estella like kind of had that look like, yo, she ain't my mom. You know what I mean? So in his mind, he's not probably thinking like that, thinking like she would be the number one suspect. But she knows, because she knows her dynamic relationship with her stepmother, but like, oh, that bitch. Like, you know what I mean?
I think that she's talking too much. That's what I think. I think that the stepmother is talking too much. to other people in the organization about Stella, right?
Yeah.
This definitely is going to get back to Chin. Once Chin hears this, she's going to get dealt with, okay? Because let me tell you, they will kill a woman if she's doing stuff like that, but they're going to make it a robbery, right? They'll make it a robbery or, a rape or something. They'll do something to not make it them who did it.
They're going to say Bumpy did it. And then there's your war.
Like that.
There's your war.
A black kid. They'll say a black kid robbed her and killed her, right? No, seriously, that's what they're going to do.
They did that. Not for her. Remember, they hired
Chin's wife. Though.
Well, they hired two black men. It was a whole thing. Like Chin hired two black men to kill some important mobster or some shit. And
that was her first boyfriend. Chin's son.
No. It was somebody important because Chin had to go dig up the body. Like he had to dig up the body.
That was Chaz Polnichek's son, which was her first boyfriend.
Oh shit. That's right, because he was fucking. That's right. Every man that's gotten this woman's drawers has been murdered, one way or the other.
That is true.
She's cursed.
Absolutely.
Thank you, Jemani. Yeah. I totally forgot about that shit. That fucker he was the first. He was the first. It's like I thought Chin was either molesting Stella or he wanted to, because every man that came up to the drawers, he was like, those belong to me. And I was like, there's something wrong in this relationship. So I felt that. I felt that for a little bit.
I don't think you haven't been around Italian men, have you?
I was like,
they don't, unless they pick you to be with their daughter, they don't really want you around their daughter.
I'm about to say, man, you gotta watch Sopranos, man, and wait Tony.
Yeah, they don't want you around their daughter at all.
I was like, he's mad murdering people. Anyway, we gotta get the hush. Jemani.
And I just read about why the Malcolm was replaced. It's a scheduling conflict.
Oh, all right. So it's not personal.
No.
All right. At least that's Jemani, anything else before we roll about here?
No, I didn't see it. We never see any scenes for what happens next.
No.
So yeah, I have no idea what's going to. I have no predictions because it's very other than they made a very big point of constantly beating in your head every episode that I have my best men on Malcolm, and they're going to stay there. And so something's going to happen with the Italians, right? Or the mob, however you want to label them. And he's going to have to pull his men. And that's
when he gets killed. That's when he gets, that's very good. Very good. And then that's somehow he feels responsible for the murder. And yeah, that's true. There you go.
So other than that, I don't know. I'm like, Joe Colombo needs to start making some moves as opposed to just, as you said, playing Colombo, talking to housewives and stuff, whether it's Bumpy's wife or Olympia, Yeah, I'm like, stop with the Oprah stuff and get to the gangster.
He crushed him in his junkyard, but I see your point. We gotta get to more stuff. Chris, what you got?
I mean, I don't know. I mean, I feel like we're just going to get the same. I mean, some of it's cool. I'm hoping that we will actually really do have Malcolm actually go to Africa and not just do the little thing where you typically see in shows and movies where it's like you just don't have the character for several episodes because they're just gone. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it's a possibility that might happen. Maybe, I don't know. Yeah, I also feel like I think you're right, Jamani. I think now all the men are being pulled away is now the vulnerability is going to happen and someone's going to die. So yeah, that will happen. Yeah, I mean, I know what's his face that plays Powell is a busy man right now, obviously, especially with that big show that he has on Netflix already. I just hope that he's in other episodes or whatnot. You know what I mean? He out of all the stuff, and that's weird, usually because I love usually the gangster shit over the political stuff, right? Especially when you're talking about stuff like power. But in this show, especially with oh man, what's his name? What's the dude's name? Powell's name in real life?
Adam Clayton Powell.
No,
Yeah. The guy, yeah.
Oh,
Gustavo.
Giancarlo Esposito.
Yeah, Esposito. Yeah, I feel like the way, like, just his mood, his like his excitement, just the level of the stuff that he brings to the show. I think is well warranted. I remember watching the first season, not really sure about him, especially for a gangster show, but then being oddly shocked, how much I like it. So I'm hoping we get more of that. I know apparently a lot of actors' schedules been busy apparently. So same thing with Chin. I hope we get some Chin in this. Yeah, that was a weird sentence to say out loud. I hope we get some Chin in this. Good thing his name is not like Head or something. Okay, anyway. All right, well, but yeah. But yeah, on that note, I'm a back away, and I think I should.
Thank you, Chris, for that odd segue. Kim, anything else after the Chin Head? What you got?
Yeah. Okay. Anywho, no, I just wanted to stop being repetitive, and obviously I'm not going to get that wish. So just going to see where it goes. I mean, you could be definitely right about Elise and Malcolm, and they give him an illegitimate child, because I feel like next episode or the episode after he will die, unfortunately. But I feel like, yeah, they might do that. I mean, I've never heard of him having one, but we're not going by real history anyway, right? So we'll see what happens. But other than, like I said, I like Stella, but I don't like that they're not using her to her full potential, right? So I want them to do that. I do enjoy the guy who plays Joe Colombo. I think he's a really good actor. He's been in a lot of things, so I'm enjoying seeing him. And he's not unlike other mob bosses who try to go through women to get to their man. That happens. It even happens in all gangs, right? Because they know that that's the man's soft spot. But also, too, it's a threat, right? If I can get to your woman, I can get to you, right? Yeah. So that's another reason why he did what he did. And I didn't understand that part, too. Why would Bumpy's wife not even have one bodyguard with her? You are Bumpy Johnson's wife. You have many enemies. Yeah. That made no sense to me that she could walk around Harlem. Yeah. And not have at least one person guarding her, but you're guarding Elise and Malcolm, and I'm like, what? That didn't make sense to me. So I thought that was clearly like just for the show, like it was plot convenience for sure. Yeah. So, but other than that, I mean, I just need it to stop being repetitive. But the acting is really good, so that's always a plus, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So with Senator Powell not being in the show, I think it's kind of weird that they're making Mamie's political like aspirations such a big thing, because she's like, I'm not going to South Carolina because I want to be something in the government, and Powell is how she's supposed to get there. So it's kind of weird that they're trying to do that. Like, how's she gonna do things if he's not there? Because he hasn't really given her a position yet, but that's supposed to be her way up. Was she not necessarily being supportive of Bumpy, but being honest with Bumpy to be like you cannot beat the Italians, like not just you by yourself, like make a good deal, live to fight another day, but you're going to end up working with them anyway. So like you need to get on board, because he's like, I'm trying to fight for, my pride and, fight for Harlem. And she's like, just make a deal. Like, you know what I'm saying? So he's not even being supported at home. So at some level, Colombo did, he accomplished the goal, which was to get the wife to be like, hey, you might want to consider this. And now he's hearing this crap at home, right? So the message got across. And when she took the drink was a very important thing. When she was like, I'll take that drink now. She's like, got it, right? Okay. Let's talk about it, right? There's a conversation to be had. And so that was he needs to try to kidnap her and hurt her. He was just like really trying to, talk to her, and he seemed to work. So, how does that work? Huh?
I was like, that ain't the way, though. That ain't the way. You don't just take someone's wives like that. Like,
of course.
Oh no, he was wrong. He was wrong, yeah. But I understand why he did it. That's the soft spot. That's how you get to a man's heart.
That's also gets your ass killed.
Also,
a lot of times there ain't gonna be no combo after that. Like, oh, you just took my girl, like, and then you're gonna bring up like where she lives. Oh, there will be
do you think Joe Colombo cares? Like like they said, his dad was crazy. The son is crazy. Like, they don't care.
I got you. Yep. Okay. Yeah, he is kind of like Al Capone.
Yes.
Yeah. And also he knows like Bumpy would not live. Like even Bumpy knows I can't just kill this dude. Like all the fans will come for me. Like I'll be wiped out. Like my whole so I mean he does know he has the upper hand.
Well, no, Bumpy did kill a made man. Remember that? Remember there was a guy who was he was a made man. I think he talked with Chen or something. I think Chen knew about it too.
Oh, the hotel. Oh, when he like
yeah.
And Bumpy didn't give a shit. He was like, I don't care if he's made or not. And I can't remember what he did though. But yeah,
I think it was family related, if I remember.
I thought it had something to do with the lease. I feel like I thought
it might be. It might be.
I thought. But I mean, but like. But in situations like and Bumpy has to work with it. But Columbo's a good character. I got to see where it goes. And then Powell again, we got to see where that goes if that money ever comes back. But anyway, we will get to all this next week. We'll be doing the next episode, and we got some other things we'll be going on. So check us out. And now we're gonna get into Hush. So Chris, I will say have a good week and see you around and good luck with the suits.
Hi, Chris. Jemani, you staying for Hush?
No, I wasn't able to finish all of it, so
okay.
I'm about.
All right,
but I'll be watching them.
Okay.
Thanks, all right, Kim.